This is She Creates Business, a podcast for wedding pros. Your host, Kinsey Roberts, interviews incredible women in the wedding industry who are making their mark and creating success on their terms. Join the conversation.
Well, hey there and happy Thursday. Welcome to She Creates Business, a podcast for wedding pros. This is your host, Kinsey Roberts. Thanks so much for listening in today. I am excited to have you here as always. Hope you're having an awesome week. It's a short week, right? If you work full-time, I guess, like I do, or maybe you just took some time off, we had Monday off of work. So hope you're enjoying your short week, and tomorrow's Friday. So really looking forward to bringing you Katherine and Tayler from Aisle Planner today to talk all things systems and how Aisle Planner can systematize your business, bring organization to your business, bring a level of professionalism to your business that maybe you don't feel like you have, or maybe you're really looking forward to developing, maybe in the slower season. I do make a confession on this podcast. I don't use Aisle Planner for my own business. A couple of months ago, I tried it. And I own a venue. I'm not a planner. And there were some specific wedding planner verbiage in the tool that I couldn't change. And so I hear that is different now. So I myself will be heading over to grab my free trial again and see if I can make it work for me, because I've heard amazing things about it. And after this talk, number one, it was so fun. Katherine and Tayler are like my spirit animals. But number one, it was so fun to talk to them. I want to be their best friend. So Katherine and Tayler, if you're listening, sorry to be such a stalker, or I'm not sorry. Either way, you decide. But I'm so excited to dig into the tool and see how it can work for our business. They are offering a really awesome promo code for She Creates Business listeners. So if you sign up for your free trial. Definitely go get that. That's a free 30-day trial. Everybody gets that. But after that, if you decide to sign up for a subscription, you can get 10% off your first 3 months for a new subscription if you use the code She Creates Business. So if you're new to Aisle Planner, you love it after doing the free trial, you want to get 10% off your first 3 months, use the code She Creates Business in the promo code section, and you'll get that 10% off. So Katherine and Tayler, thank you so much for offering that to listeners. I'm going to head over there and grab it. Without further ado, we are going to jump into the show. Before I do that, I want to tell you a couple of announcements. As you guys have probably heard, or if you're listening for the first time today, my book, She Creates Business, a book for wedding pros, comes out on November 1st. I am accepting pre-orders right now. Thank you to everybody who has pre-ordered so far. And what I have decided to do, the little way that I can help people in Houston, is to donate all of the proceeds from the book from now until the end of September to the Red Cross in relief for Hurricane Harvey. So if you're interested in ordering the book for you and a girlfriend or a group of wedding pros that you know, you can head over to shecreatesbusinesspodcast.com/book. Make your pre-order there. And from now until the end of September, we've been doing this since the end of August. From now until the end of September, 100% of those proceeds are going to go to the Red Cross in relief for Hurricane Harvey. So again, everybody who has ordered, thank you so much. I just looked earlier and we have raised $302. I took out some taxes and stuff because you have to do that. But thank you so much. I really appreciate it. So, we're just doing what we can with what we have. And so I thank you all for pre-ordering. So head over to shecreatesbusinesspodcast.com/book. And together we can, make a small dent into relief for Hurricane Harvey victims. All right, let's go to the interview with Katherine and Tayler from Aisle Planner. Katherine and Tayler, welcome to the show.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. We were just talking offline, you guys, that I was kind of like peeking around through my email, trying to find some Skype information for Katherine and Tayler. And we first started this conversation about them coming on the show back in December 2016. So that is a testament to my organizational skills. So it's a really great thing they're here to talk about streamlining with systems today.
Well, we are so excited that it finally happened.
Me too. I'm so happy to finally have you here, and I'm really looking forward to today's call, especially as we get into the busy engagement season where, having our systems in place is going to be really important. But kind of before we get there, I gave everybody that professional bio, kind of your background, but I would love for each of you individually to tell us kind of who you are, where you're coming from and how you got into the industry. And Katherine, if you would start us off, that'd be great.
Sure. So I have been in the wedding industry for a while now, I guess wedding and events industry. It was always a dream of mine to be a wedding planner. I actually decided when I was 10 years old and got a subscription to Martha Stewart as a Christmas present, I think, when I was 13.
Nice.
So I probably have the largest history of back issues of Martha Stewart ever to exist. And I went into PR and then started my own wedding planning company after working for Neiman Marcus, where I did about 300 events a year for the company in Arizona. So I had my feet wet in events and knew it was time for me to start my own company. So I dove into wedding planning head first, and I owned a business called Lucky and in Love in Arizona for almost 4 years until I moved to San Diego. And I actually started using Aisle Planner in my own business. I stumbled upon it. I actually got an invitation that the company sent me and started my trial and fell so in love with the tools. And I can say it actually revolutionized my business and not be lying because I used it for about 6 months until I moved to San Diego and found out that the team actually lived right around the corner from where we moved. And I sent an email to just into the abyss of customer care of Aisle Planner, and I said, hey, I would love to meet someone from Aisle Planner. I just want to tell you how wonderful these tools are and how they've changed my business. And I was expecting a 50-person team and to get, an assistant reply, sending an email back and telling me, oh, thanks, like, have a nice day.
Right.
And Christina, the founder, our founder, actually emailed me back directly and said, if you're in the neighborhood, I'd love to grab coffee and just kind of hear your feedback about the tools. So I was totally floored, and we actually went to coffee. And I came to find out that the team was incredibly small, and she was basically had started this thing on her own, female-owned business, and just had a few helpers basically at that point. And slowly but surely, I managed to work my way in.
I love that. I managed to work my way in. So tell us, what was that timeline like for you? I know you were a wedding planner for 4 years in Arizona, and then you moved to San Diego. And what year was that?
So it's been 2 years now. Gosh, what was that, 2015? Yeah, 2015. And I reached out. I think I met Christina probably within the first 2 weeks of living in San Diego. And then I actually met Tayler because Christina connected us and said, you have to meet Tayler. She's amazing. She knows everyone in San Diego in the wedding industry. You guys should meet. She can hook you up with the right people to talk to, since I really thought that I was going to move my full business to San Diego. And Tayler and I went to coffee, and I was like, I have to work with this person somehow.
And then I very promptly went back to the office and said, Tina, we have to hire her.
So I think I started coming in and helping out just in the office probably 3-4 months later. I mean, I had gone to coffee with Christina a handful of times at that point, talking about ways to improve the tools, and she'd, run some ideas past me, different things that they were thinking about adding, and if it was a good idea, or just kind of getting opinions about things. And so I finally joined the team right around Thanksgiving. So it'll be 2 years this Thanksgiving.
That's awesome. And were you doing any active wedding planning as you were, kind of just giving your feedback and meeting with Christina? What was that like?
Yeah, so our move to San Diego was very quick. My husband found out he was getting promoted and moved to California. So we actually had 2 weeks to find an apartment and find renters for our house in Arizona and move. So I was fully booked that fall in Arizona. So we moved in May, right before we got married, actually. And so I had full weddings in Arizona. So I was actually traveling most weekends back to Arizona to do these weddings. So it was tough. It was definitely a tough transition to get everything kind of settled again and outside of Arizona. But I loved it. I mean, I made it work. Aisle Planner's worth it.
Oh, yeah. Well, I'm curious. I mean, it sounds like, and then I joined the team. How did you decide? I mean, if you were being a planner and an event planner for many years, for Neiman Marcus and then in PR and then in your own planning business, how did you decide to get out of the business as a planner? Was that an easy decision or was that tough?
It was tough. I mean, I still do plan. So I take on probably about 5 weddings a year, and small. Oh, cool. I try to do just month of coordination at this point. I have a 1-year-old, so things are busy always. And so I knew that I was never really going to shut down the business. Just the idea of transitioning to a new city after I had spent all this time building and establishing my business in Arizona was daunting, and it was something that I honestly didn't really want to take on. And we had just gotten married abroad when we moved to San Diego, and I'd come off of my busiest year, and honestly I was just feeling a little burned out from wedding planning. Had just, back-to-back full service, very involved weddings, and was just tired. So I think Aisle Planner, fell into my lap at the perfect time. What they were needing was something that, I know extremely well, obviously, with background in weddings, and they needed someone to come on to help on the customer support side. So to work on account management and talking to planners all day, helping them solve their issues. And I was pretty well versed in the Aisle Planner tools at that point, but obviously being thrown into the deep end, I can confidently say I know everything about the tools now. But yeah, getting to talk to planners every day and getting to hear about their frustrations or the way, that they want to work with clients or better ways to work with their clients, I found that I would really thrive in that situation, just kind of like talking to my people all day long. It was great. Loved it.
Brilliant. Tayler, my girl, you are up. How did you get involved? Tell me, what's the story here?
Oh, my story is, I like to joke that it started with an Instagram follow.
Nice.
Because I'll make this long story short, but I am now the creative and marketing director at Aisle Planner.
Yeah, you are.
And I left the corporate world almost 4 years ago without having anything lined up. And a friend told me to follow someone on Instagram because she thought I would think it was a cool account. And I did. And I ended up taking an unpaid internship with this woman, Julie of Race Case. She makes really cool handmade bags. And after working with her for a while, she had another friend who was a florist, or is a florist, and had been telling her, I really need someone to come in and help with all these creative projects and get my marketing act together. And so Julie connected me with Tam, and I definitely say the rest is history, because the universe decided that it was going to connect me to the most connected person in San Diego, which is how I ended up with this crazy network of, connections in the wedding industry here. And so I started working with Tam of Issery Flower Studio, just helping her out with all sorts of creative projects in the studio. All that were marketing and advertising related. And then a couple months after that, her, people in her network were asking her, who's submitting all your work? Who's doing your social media? Who's doing this, and this? And eventually I woke up one day and I said, I have clients. I need to start a business.
What's happening?
Yeah. So I started my marketing consulting business called Tailored Media and Designs. Mm-hmm. And by beautiful happenstance, the wedding industry became my niche. I have always been a creative person, but also very type A organized at the same time. So it was this really great fit for me, where the challenge of helping wedding professionals making their businesses stand out is really hard in a saturated market. So, my more analytical side, my more logical side really helped me to do that. But then having an eye for aesthetics just kind of made it my jam. Mm-hmm. So I got connected with Tam then said, I have this friend. Her name is Tina. She needs you. She needs you so bad. And a couple months went by, and I since then have found out that Tina was basically stalking me online, watching what I was doing. And eventually I was on a trip to Hawaii with my mom, and I posted this picture of all these very neatly stacked cans of Spam, which I love. I'm half Filipino, and Spam is part of my culture. And Tina saw that and Tina grew up in Hawaii, and she's like, she's hired. The spam photo is what got me hired at Aisle Planner.
You guys, it is literally not what you know. It is who you know and whether or not they like spam.
Exactly. So, yeah, my getting into the wedding industry, I think, is very atypical, but I am so thankful that I have ended up here, because it's definitely where I thrive. And all of the wedding professionals here in San Diego that I've gotten to work with are just so amazing. I'm very thankful to be in the California market. I mean, it's like everywhere you turn, there's just people doing great work, and it makes marketing and advertising and, doing submissions for them easier. Yeah. But yeah, so that's how I got connected to Aisle Planner.
That's fabulous. And did you start right away, Tayler, as the director of marketing?
No, I originally was just hired on to do social media.
Sure.
And because I was like part-time, hire number 2, Megan was hired just, I think, 3 or 4 weeks before I started. And Megan runs all of our customer care team. So Tina brought me on just to do social media, and then immediately I was like, but there are all these other things that you need to be doing to market this business. And so I, grabbed the blog and I said, we're going to do this. So the blog is my baby, and that is the foundation of our entire marketing strategy. So I took advantage of the opportunity of there not being a set marketing strategy or, people having the time to do things. And I grabbed the opportunity and I ran with it. So I have grown into my role as creative and marketing director, but when I see something I want to do and that I have the skills to do it, I will make executive decisions and just make things happen.
I love that attitude. That's amazing. Really quickly, just for clarity's sake, when you say Tina, you are referring to Christina, the founder of Aisle Planner. Okay. All right.
Those are one and the same.
Perfect. That's what I thought. This is amazing. I could seriously just talk about your backstories all day long, because I find it so interesting, and I just could feel your passion for Aisle Planner through my computer.
We are very passionate about it.
I love it. Okay, let's move in to, I kind of teased this at the beginning. We're talking about really streamlining our businesses today, and I think Aisle Planner can play a huge role in that, and does for, thousands and thousands of wedding industry professionals. So let's do this. Gosh, I don't know where I want to start. I think I'll start with, let's say I'm a new planner or a new wedding professional, and I am just hearing about Aisle Planner for the first time, but I know that I need to systematize my business. Let's say I have that background knowledge. Katherine, where would you tell someone to start with Aisle Planner if I was that person?
The beautiful thing about Aisle Planner, and this is something I really wish I had when I was a newbie, is really adding a level of professionalism to your company that might not be there. I would say when you are a couple years in business, you really know kind of how the flow of your planning process works. But when you are first starting out, that is a really tough thing to map out when you have not done that many weddings. So I would say the checklist is a really great place to start for new planners. Aisle Planner provides a default checklist, which is a great jump off point. I mean, the thing is huge. It probably includes
12 pages.
It's 12 pages when you print it. It's every bullet point you could ever think of that would go into a wedding to plan it start to finish. But I would say that is a great place to start when creating templates of the planning process, just kind of from start to finish. You can go through it, find out what you like, find out what you don't like, remove items, kind of add in little special signature items that are going to be, the secret sauce for your business. But that's really a great place to start.
Mm-hmm. And so a follow-up question then, if you mentioned that if you're a couple of years into your business, you really kind of already know what it takes to make your brand and your business look professional. And so if I'm at that stage in my business, how can I, or should I, or could I use Aisle Planner in my business?
Oh, sure. So with the checklist specifically, newbie planners might just have one template checklist that they're working off of, but more established planners, I would definitely say make as many checklist templates as you can. So you're never starting truly from scratch with a client. So in my personal account, I have a full service checklist. I have a month of checklist. I have different time frame checklists. So if a full service client hires me at 8 months, I have one to start that. If they hire me when we have 12 months to plan, I have one of those. I'm going to have a design workflow checklist. I even have like an internal projects workflow checklist. We've seen planners that actually have some in different languages if they're doing destination weddings, if they have a certain client type or religious client type that they're working with over and over. It's like making these templates ahead of time, like truly streamlining your system, knowing who your clients are, and then you're never really, like I said, starting from scratch.
And so, Tayler, from, as you have this, fabulous marketing brain, and when you're involved in something like Aisle Planner, how do you think Aisle Planner really plays into kind of the marketing piece of our businesses as wedding professionals?
It definitely does. And Katherine alluded, or she didn't allude, she just said it in the beginning of her answer. The fact for new planners, there's two different camps here. For new planners, it really does make you look a lot more established than you may be. So when you have just started a wedding business, maybe you've got a website and you've got like 50 posts in your Instagram feed, and people can tell by, stalking you online that you are a newbie or, more of a rookie. So then where Aisle Planner kind of flips the script for a newer planner is if you invite your client in and they see this very clean, very streamlined platform that you're using to plan on, and it's, branded with your logo, and like you're collaborating with them on it, and you've got all of these great templates and style guides already set up when they first log in. Automatically you seem like you have got it together. Your client experience has been elevated. And so that's a really big thing for the newer planners is it makes you seem older. Your business seems older than it actually is.
I love that. Your business really seems like you've done this a million times, even if this is your second wedding.
Yes, it's not like, at least people will not think it's your first rodeo, even if it is your first rodeo.
Yeah. Okay, we're getting t-shirts made that it says that.
But then for, more established planners, Aisle Planner really sets them apart because they can come in and you can, add your entire, let's say you have a couple other associate planners or, principal planners that are helping you run a larger business. Everyone is working in the same system, but only has access to the projects that they're actively working on. So internally, it really helps to organize how the team is moving, even though they're technically all moving in different directions. There's still this very united front. So your business as a whole just looks and feels and works like a well-oiled machine.
Well, let's dig into that a little bit. You both have mentioned that there's kind of some external pieces that are, client facing, and then there's some internal pieces that are more for your team. So let's talk about those different systems within Aisle Planner and how we can be using them. And Katherine, if you kind of want to touch on it, and then Tayler follow up with your thoughts as well.
Sure. So the cool thing about Aisle Planner is when the tools launched, it was really about planning a wedding. So everything from, the checklist that I mentioned, a timeline, a design studio, a guest manager, which is amazing, a budget, even like a notebook to keep all of your notes. That was the main goal. And now we've really been working on finishing up our full suite of business tools to manage the back end of your business as well. So that's, invoicing, payments, contracts, proposals, quotes. There's a lead capture form that feeds directly into a lead manager that you can link to your website. So all of those, back end tools that planners and their team have access to are now, setting them up for success to then be able to plan the events in Aisle Planner as well. So it's all kind of a full circle from the lead inquiry all the way to the big day.
Okay. Tayler, what are your thoughts on that? What are kind of some internal tools then that people can use to organize their own teams?
Yeah. So all of the tools are really flexible. I think it was in December of 2016, we launched the ability to have non-wedding events in the tools. And prior to that, every project, I mean, we used to just only refer to them as weddings. Because you could only have a wedding. And, you know, there was all these references to bride and groom and wedding. And so people used to kind of fit, you know, a square peg into a round hole by planning corporate events or photo shoots and like finagling the title, even though it still said bride and groom. So we basically had to carbon copy all of the code to create non-wedding events. But now that you can choose a wedding project or other, that really opens, I mean, it opens up almost endless possibilities within the platform. And so, I mean, even I still have just a couple very small contracts outside of Aisle Planner, but I run my business off of Aisle Planner, using it as a foundation for proposals and contracts and invoicing and online payments, but then also to manage my internal process. So planners or, you know, any wedding industry professional can really take advantage of the fact that they don't have to operate, like keep their business organized using other platforms. You know, if you're going to spend however many hours a day in Aisle Planner working with your clients or just, you know, internally working on the open projects you've got, you might as well be doing all of the work for your business in the same space. So you can, for example, like the checklist that we all live and die by, from a business perspective, you can just totally clear out the checklist, start with a blank slate. And then I have added things like when my quarterly estimated taxes are due, when I have to pay my California LLC tax. You know, I put my internal blog schedule into the checklist. And, you know, with all these things, I'm assigning due dates so that I'm getting reminders that, hey, you need to, like, your taxes are due and Uncle Sam's going to come after you if you don't pay them. So, so that's how, from more of an internal perspective, that Aisle Planner really becomes, you know, a true value add, because, you know, for the same amount of money that you're paying for however many projects you've got, like, you just stick your own business in there, and then you're using Aisle Planner for, you know, twice the amount of work.
That's really interesting that you say you're kind of using it for those few like consulting projects that you still have. When thinking back to, so full disclosure, I don't use Aisle Planner, so this is not like a commercial for Aisle Planner, you guys, but I've heard a lot of good things about it. But I did do like a free trial, and I own a venue, so I'm not a wedding planner. But I feel like there was something that was very specific to being a planner, and it was like a piece of text that I couldn't change. But you're using it as a non-planner. Now, are you just using it to organize internally, or do you, I mean, you said you use it for, what did you say, contracts, or for your consulting?
Yeah, I mean,
okay.
I have ended my subscriptions to other project management platforms that I passed. So now that's, and it's okay that it's a misconception, because it's, you know, our brand is transitioning right now. We definitely used to only be for wedding planners, and basically for the first 3 years of Aisle Planner's existence, that was the case. And now that the tools are so flexible, you know, because you can literally create a non-wedding event and you can scrap everything about, you know, all the documents that are in there and change the wording. You know, I have clients that I just do submissions for, and I mean, yes, they are wedding professionals, so they're somewhat familiar with Aisle Planner, but nothing about the communication that they receive has anything to do with planning a wedding. It's totally scrubbed of all of that.
That is so brilliant. And I kind of just wanted to shine a light on something. I know this isn't what we're talking about right now, but I think it's a huge testament to niching down and finding where you can be the most successful. I mean, Aisle Planner has seen, you know, just exponential growth. And you mentioned that you really were, for the first 3 years, all about wedding planners, which is a very targeted niche. And so I just kind of wanted to shine a light on that and say, you know, we're all kind of scared sometimes of niching down, but it really can be such a monumental thing for our business. Would you agree?
Yeah, I mean, niching down was a huge point of conversation at the Creative at Heart conference.
Yes.
But, you know, from a branding perspective, we will always be Well, I mean, I say always. I will fight tooth and nail to always be wedding industry specific. We still overwhelmingly talk to planners, but because there is that flexibility, we have to at least acknowledge the fact that other professionals can absolutely take advantage of this. Mm-hmm. So, when it comes to what a florist needs, are we going to have everything that a florist needs in the future? Probably not, because that is not our niche. But creating a platform that is usable and flexible enough for the majority of the wedding industry to use is really our goal.
Yes. I love this. So listeners know this, I work full-time for Acuity Scheduling, and really the conversation is the same. It's a scheduling software for entrepreneurs, and we get a lot of emails or questions about really customizing it for specific businesses, and it's just not really on the table. And I think that that's part of what makes Acuity special, is that it's good for the majority, and I feel like you're saying that with Aisle Planner as well. And so anyway, love that. That's neither here nor there, but I feel like you guys are, and I know that you're just so inundated in all of the back end and the systems and what Aisle Planner can offer. And so I would love for you to kind of just, without me, having a specific question, Katherine, if you want to start us off here, I would love for you to kind of, tell listeners what really streamlining with systems in their business can do for them, and maybe pull out things that Aisle Planner is good for. You kind of mentioned you guys could talk about this all day, so I would love for you to just kind of like have the floor and take it from here.
Sure. So I think my jump off point for this is I have been telling everyone that I'm going to create bumper stickers that says, "Stop doing repetitive work."
Oh, smart.
Stop doing it. It makes no sense as a business owner. We don't have time as it is. Yes. So with Aisle Planner, templates is such a powerful portion of the tools. So you can create a template or a contract template. You can create notes templates. So that's something that might be, repetitive questions that I would get as a planner are, how much should I tip my vendors? Or what entails an invitation suite? So these are things you can create templates for ahead of time and just bring them into the wedding as soon as your client asks, or even beforehand, so you seem like you really have your act together. Creating invoice templates, creating the checklist workflow, like I mentioned, as a template, creating the timeline as a template, as much time as professionals can spend building out these templates ahead of time. So when they're actually presented with needing to invoice their client or needing to send them a contract, ASAP, they're not sitting there trying to type out all this information or, copy and paste chunks together from old contracts like I used to do. Mm-hmm. Already created. It's a template, you bring it in, you update the names, you update the signee, and you send it out as far as a contract goes. The client experience is really about making sure that your clients feel loved on. And I felt when I was a planner, that meant answering their questions before they asked them. And to do that well, I really needed to have it written down somewhere else, because
if it's not written down,
it doesn't happen. And, when you're managing multiple weddings, and as you get more established in business, you have a lot on your plate, and you have a lot of similar deliverables to different people and at different time frames. And if these things aren't written down, like to send a welcome packet, or I tell this to everyone, I used to send 6-month out cards to all my clients that say, congratulations, we're 6 months away, like can't wait till your big day. Something small that made them feel like I was really paying attention. And these are things that I probably wouldn't have been able to do if it wasn't written down somewhere, if it wasn't established as a planning process ahead of time, because, working on the fly is just a time suck. It's just not worth the waste.
It's not a strategy.
It's not a strategy. Exactly.
What are your thoughts on that, Tayler?
My thoughts. I'm working on a lot of big marketing projects right now. So excuse me if I pull copy into the conversation that I'm writing. But I mean, one of the things that I really realized as someone who manages multiple projects within Aisle Planner, and then also has multiple clients outside of it.
Right.
So the juggle is, it's a circus, but it doesn't have to be a hot mess. Mm-hmm. So one of the things that I've really realized is everyone talks about how time is scarce and we all need more time. And, no one, we wish we could, but no one can give us or make the days longer. Like, That's just not happening. That's science, and it's not happening. But doing things like, making a concerted effort to document, standardize, and streamline your systems will do is help you get through your work faster and more efficiently, like without mistakes. If you're going through it, just because you've written it down doesn't mean it's efficient and it's been standardized. You can still open yourself up for error. So making the investment in yourself and making the investment in your business to really document everything helps you work faster, which in turn, I'm using finger quotes, excuse me, will give you more time back. So that, what used to maybe take you a 10-hour day to get through, if we can help get you down to an actual 8-hour workday, like, that is freaking fantastic. And we've done our job.
Yes.
So because being a professional, being a business owner is not about working until your fingers are raw. Like, you have a life outside of work. As much as you may totally be enthralled and in love with all of your clients and all of your creative partners, there is a life outside of work. And, that's one of the great things about Aisle Planner is that we all have this very similar vision of like how we want to live our lives. And though we work real hard, we also place a lot of importance on like spending time with Katherine has children or child and, a family. And, my husband and I like to get outside and, be on our bikes or get out in the surf. Those are the things that working really well enables you to do more of. Mm-hmm. And it sounds a little bit cheeseball, but that really, as small business owners, like you very likely created your own business because you wanted to build something very specific for yourself. So the least we can do is help you to do that very specific life faster.
I love that. And I like that you don't sugarcoat that, you are busy and you personally, you are busy. You do have a lot going on between Aisle Planner and what you do outside of Aisle Planner, but we can still accomplish all of those things. I think what you said was, it's a circus, but it doesn't have to be a hot mess.
Yes.
You can still... There's no question that we're busy and that we have a lot going on, and Aisle Planner isn't going to magically make you less busy, but what it's going to, well, maybe it is in a way, what it's going to do is, or just systems in general, is help you navigate the waters of your busyness in a really efficient way so that you feel productive and not busy.
Yes. Yeah. Because for a really silly analogy, if you're in the ocean and you're stuck in a rip current, like, you can fight it by trying to swim out of the rip current and you're not going to get anywhere, but you're going to work really hard. Or you can just swim perpendicular to it and get out real easy. So, my husband and I are surfers, so that's why the ocean.
This non-surfer over here is looking at her like, what on earth are you talking about?
And I'm over here in the mountains of Colorado like, wait, what? No, I'm kidding.
So, Aisle Planner is like swimming perpendicular out of the rip current.
There you go.
You're going to get out, and you're going to get out a heck of a lot faster, a heck of a lot easier.
I love it. There's so many bumper stickers coming out of this interview right now that...
We're going to start our own online store in like a week.
There's a new business.
That's awesome. Guys, I would love, this has been an amazing, amazing interview. I know we've kind of just scratched the surface. I have a distinct feeling that whoever's listening who's not using Aisle Planner, they're going to run over and be like, what is this, unicorn that I need in my business? Where can they find you? How can they, I think there's a 30-day free trial with Aisle Planner. Talk to us about that. Where can we find you? How can we get our hands on it?
So you can find us at aisleplanner.com, very easy to remember, or you can find us on Instagram at aisleplanner, all one word. That would be the best place to start. And you can sign up a trial for 30 free days, and that is a full trial. So I always like to tell people it sounds dorky, but it truly is risk-free. We don't ask for any credit card information. We don't ask for any kind of specifics. It really is just come in, try it for 30 days, find out if it really is going to revolutionize your business. And if it is, you can decide whether you want to subscribe or not at the end. And if anyone wants to sign up and try, we created a promo code for it's She Creates Business, all lowercase, and it is 10% off your first 3 months if you are interested in trying us out. And I also want to say to that, as Taylor mentioned, we're not just for wedding planners anymore. And that's something we really try to tell as many people as we can come in contact with. As business owners in the wedding industry, you'll always need things like contracts, proposals, invoicing. Being able to accept online payments in this millennial marketplace that we're all living in is pretty much a must-have. So, if that's something you haven't found a partner for yet, Aisle Planner is a good place to start, to check out, and then build from there.
I love it. I'm so excited. You guys, don't forget promo code She Creates Business. That will give you 10% off your first 3 months. And then, of course, you can still do the 30-day free trial. Join me, fellow non-wedding planners, in heading back to Aisle Planner and making it really work for us. I think it'll be awesome. Taylor and Katherine, thank you so much for coming on the show. Finally, it was truly my pleasure to have you.
Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you.
You are welcome. We'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you so much for listening to She Creates Business. Please take a minute and head to iTunes to leave an honest review so we can help more wedding pros find the show.